All right, guys, not sure if you can see me, but I am live. Sorry it's a little later than what I had planned, and my hair's all windblown tonight because I was in my convertible with the top down. So I had planned tonight to talk a little about feeling, how we feel when it comes to feeling it real, and then also natural, because most people don't seem to understand what we mean by saying, you're to feel it and it's supposed to feel natural. Feeling it isn't the emotions of crying, love, joy, happiness, sadness, anger, frustration. Feeling it is going about assuming that you're living in the end of it, and that you are living from the assumption and that feeling that whatever you're wanting is done. Being natural, it's like brushing your teeth, going for a walk, driving a car. You want to be in this state where you feel that your desire is completely natural, like anybody who would drive a car. You get in the car, you kind of go on autopilot, you're automatically watching for the other cars to come and go. And a lot of people are confused because they think it's the emotions, they think it is all of these. Hi, Patty. Hi, Teresa. Hey, Saran. Let's see. Alejandro, I see you're on here. Teresa. Hey, lady. Teresa's amazing. She has had so much success with learning this system. I'm so proud of her. Disha, I see you're on here too. So love the fact that you guys are on here listening to me tonight. Again, sorry that it kind of took a little while for me to get up here. We had a little bit of a thing to do this evening with the family that kind of took precedence. But I am talking again, like I said, about feeling natural, and feeling is the secret. Feeling is the secret isn't, like I said, the emotions. It's assuming that your wish is fulfilled. It's living from the desire. And I don't really know the words that can say you would describe it, but it's similar to driving your car. You literally get in the car, you turn the key, you put your seatbelt on, you back out of your parking spot, and you go about driving. You're completely natural. You know that you were going through all of this, and you know how to drive, you know how to do everything, so your focus is just on where you're going. And knowing that you're going to get there at an X point. It may take 5 minutes, it may take 2 days, depending upon where you're driving to. The idea is, though, you have to live from the end feeling that the desire is done. It's not being emotional. If you got a dog, you got a new puppy, you're going to love the puppy, you're going to smile, you're going to be happy, you're going to be playing with it. In a week, it's going to be natural to come home, let the dog out, give them fresh food and water, and go about the rest of the evening, sit down on the couch, read a book, watch TV, and you're going to, play with the dog. It becomes natural. So when you're trying to feel something, and you're coming from the emotions of how you're going to feel love, joy, happiness, anger, frustration. It doesn't matter what the feeling is that you're feeling. When you're visualizing, that's not what we're looking for. We're actually looking for you to feel like you are driving the car. It's the most natural thing in the world. If you were walking the beach and the water is lapping your feet coming in from the waves, that's the most natural feeling in the world. And oh my God, my hair is a mess. This one's definitely not going on YouTube. It's going to stay in the group. Am I kind of explaining this so you guys understand what I'm getting at when I'm saying that the secret is literally feeling from the desire and how it is natural? Well, I'm glad I was able to answer your questions. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Simran. Well, Alejandra, I'm glad that you get it because it's taken a while for you, and I am so proud that you finally get that what you're saying and doing and living from the end creates what you are. Hi, Lily. Patty, you're awesome. So, any questions? See, Teresa did this. She is like my best success story. She went from no contact with her guy. He said he didn't want to be with her ever, and she wound up not only getting back together with him, but marrying him in 60 days. My explanation on dropping it. Dropping it is not letting go of the desire. So Neville spoke of sleeping in his cot in the military and then imagining every night he was actually sleeping in his bed in New York. Dropping it is the obsession, the need, the want. Dropping it is assuming you have it and it's feeling natural. So you're falling asleep and you think you're in New York City, when in reality you're in an army cot in the middle of a military base. Does that make sense, Lily? Exactly. You don't even have to feel happy about it. You can feel neutral, you can feel angry, you can feel frustration. When you imagine something, you've already created it. Then your thoughts reinforce what it is. It is better to be happy about whatever your desire is than it is to be angry or frustrated, but you don't have to feel happy about it. As long as you are focusing constantly on living from the end of your desire, assuming you already have it, and acting as if. I hate the phrase fake it till you make it, but that's kind of the way some people are. There was a comment that I saw not too long ago, and she said the lady, everybody thought this woman was a liar. She would walk around and say, I have this, and I have that, and I have this, and I have that. And they all knew she didn't. But then it started showing up, and she actually got what she wanted. So if you're happy, if you're grateful, that's awesome. But even if you're neutral and you're still focusing on the end, you can get your desire. Does that make sense to you? And yes, it did take you a while, but it doesn't matter because now you're living in the end and you know that you have your desire, don't you, Alejandra? So what did you want? Because Keisha, you said you were next. It's kind of hard to read and do this live. This is a new one for me. So you guys, I'm not experimenting, but I'm kind of like trying to read everything and still talk about what you guys want to talk about. So now that you've imagined something and your thoughts are in line with what you're doing, then your words need to be the third one. So the reason I push like the questions and we're naturally asking questions every day. Whether it's a good question or a bad question, it doesn't really matter. We're still asking the question. So if you're thinking from your desire, you would be asking questions about why this is making you happy, why you finally got what you want, the pros of having this in your life. So with that, you're living from the end. But if you're asking questions about how this is going to happen, when it's going to happen, you're still living from the desire. So your governor said that he was going to make history about getting people united and exposed. Well, he kind of did do that. I mean, you spoke it into existence. I mean, the techniques that he used were to verbally say that he was going to unite people and expose the corruption. Unfortunately, he got caught in the middle of the corruption, so he spoke, but he didn't watch his private words, so he was included in the United Front. It's the downfall of everybody. Sometimes when you say stuff, it looks like you're being an idiot, and other times when you say stuff and it actually goes the way that you're hoping it does, but if you have a doubt that you're going to get caught in the middle of that scandal, then that's what happened to the governor. He got caught into the middle. Yeah, I did see he resigned. Techniques are to get you into the state, absolutely. So whatever technique it is, if you're doing the lullaby method, and the lullaby method is repeating a short phrase. Neville said 3 to 5 words. So if you were to do three to 5 words, I always have more money than I spend, is one of them that I do. Why am I happily married? Why is everything working out for me? If I wanted a new car, the lullaby method could be, I now own a new Camaro. I have a new Camaro. I have a new Camaro. I got a new Camaro. And you could repeat that phrase as a lullaby. The isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? I now have a new Camaro. The other tools that you could use, I remember when I was driving a Chrysler, but now I'm driving a Camaro. So it's various different techniques, but the thing that reinforces any technique is your verbal words. And I can't stress that enough. Your verbal words literally will create exactly what it is you want, because in reality, you're speaking it into existence. So let's go back 20 or 30 years ago. There was no internet. We were talking to our friends. And what we were talking to our friends about is everything we wanted. I want this car. I want that car. I want this guy for my boyfriend. I want this job. I want this much money in my bank account. And we were talking about getting this job, getting that car, getting that guy. And all of our thoughts and focuses was on, I'm in a relationship with that person. I work for this company. I'm driving this car. I have this type of place to live in. And we were the gods of our world, but we were still thinking God was outside of us. You introduce the internet, and what happens is we start learning manifesting techniques from all the different teachers. And I'm not going to dish any of them, because every single one of them are giving a message that that person needs at the right time in their life. So we all have knowledge of what we've learned, and we can teach from where we've learned to be able to help other people from our experiences. So if you're focusing on the techniques, that's great. But whatever your verbal words are coming out is what's really cementing everything you say. So if you go pre-internet, we were praying to the God outside of us. If you go internet, we learned that God is our wonderful human imagination. Our thoughts create our reality. The problem is we're now on Facebook, where everybody can tell their story. So they keep repeating the story of how things are going wrong or how this isn't working out for us. They're saying it, they're writing it, and somewhere in their brain they're still thinking it. All right, so kind of catching up a little bit here on some of the questions. Do you need to feel it when you're saying your statements out loud? No matter what, you're feeling something. You may think you're feeling neutral. You may think you're feeling robotic. You may be feeling happy. You may be neutral. You may be angry. Those feelings are all natural because we're human. And when we're human, those things come and go in our life on a daily basis. Women can feel an entire ocean of emotion within a matter of seconds. Guys, on the other hand, feel the size of a teacup. That's all the emotions they can handle. So when you take all of those emotions, they vary from point to point. So you're at work, you're on break, you're not in a really good mood, you're aggressively saying your stuff. If there's still words to live from the end of your desire, it's okay. If you're robotic, it's okay. If you are happy, grateful, it's okay. As long as your words are reinforcing whatever your desire is. So I can't be angry and frustrated and complaining about my car breaking down when I'm living from the end of having a new Camaro. I can't be angry and frustrated and talk bad about my spouse, my boyfriend, your girlfriend. What I would be saying was, yeah, I'm upset with him right now. I need a breather. I need to step back. I need to take 5, regroup my thoughts, because I really do love this person and I want a relationship with them that lasts the rest of my life. Those things are normal when you are feeling. So as long as your feelings are across the board, it doesn't matter. Your words are the ones that matter. Your thoughts are the ones that matter. And yes, it's okay to be mad at somebody, still love them, still want to be with them, but don't talk bad about them. We had a fight. I'm not in a really good mood. Give me some time to de-stress, and then we'll go back and have this conversation peacefully, because that is going to keep you focused forward, and then your words are not hurtful, spiteful, and you're not disrespecting the other person. You're respecting them in a way that says, hey, give me 5. And they will give you 5 because they don't want to fight with you any more than you want to fight with them. Yes, your brain answers any questions that you ask. It doesn't matter how you ask the questions, your brain is going to answer for you. The more you talk about the end, the faster the end comes. The more you talk about what you want, the longer it takes for that want to happen. So potty words for me are trying and working. I don't like the word try because that means you're not actually doing it. Working, I'm on Facebook and I can say I'm working on my painting. Obviously I'm not, because I'm live and my painting's over there and I don't have a paintbrush in either one of my hands. So I'm trying to paint, I'm working to paint, I'm not really doing it. So the only 2 words I don't like are working and trying. As long as your words reinforce what you want, keep asking. Keep telling the story you want to create. Remember, any desire you have is like the fairy tale. So Cinderella is cleaning the house. There's a ball. She makes a dress. She comes down to go to the ball. They rip apart her dress. The fairy godmother comes in, creates this beautiful ball gown and horses and footmen and a carriage, and off to the ball she goes. She loses her glass slipper on her way out. The prince is sending somebody around to find her. They break the glass slipper. This is where you're at in your manifestation. The glass slipper is broken. Cinderella knew the other glass slipper was in her room. So she ran up to her room, got the other glass slipper, and put it on. And from there, they lived happily ever after. So when you're manifesting something, you're going to go through stages. The bubble stage is when the desire is at its peak and you really want it. Then you're going to hit the neutral stage. Do I want it? Do I don't want it? Then you're going to hit the natural stage. So now it's natural to have this desire, and then it shows up. I don't know if I would say I'd have to believe it. Believing it does help, but the more you reinforce it and live from the end, it changes the belief that you can't have XYZ to the fact that you can have XYZ. It's like everybody says self-love, self-love. Self-love is a state. Just like being married is a state. Just like having so much money is a state. Everything is a state, and how you choose to play in that state. So if you have doubts, if you have disbelief, by living from the desire and your words focusing on the end of the desire and that you have it, you're changing your beliefs. You're getting rid of the doubt because you're asking questions to help you stay in the end. So why am I happily married? Why am I driving a Camaro? All of those are focusing on you already have what you want. You're already living from what you want. So the belief that it can't happen goes away because you're living from the desire, not wanting it. You're living from having it. So beliefs and doubts are because you're not living from the end. And once you live from the end, you don't have the doubts and the belief problems because they naturally come into place. How long does it take to embody the affirmations in your mind? The more you ask them, the quicker you get them. I do affirmations, and I've done affirmations for over 25 years. So sometimes I can ask a question and the answer shows up instantly. The other night, I went out on a date. We had a really nice steak dinner and left, and I, in my head, just said, I'd like to have ice cream. And I said, why do I get ice cream? And we were driving down the street, and 10 minutes later, my date pulls into the ice cream shop. We go through the drive-thru, and we got ice cream. So something like that is simple because you don't have any disbeliefs that you can get an ice cream cone. Being with somebody, the more you say it, the quicker it will embody. But they do say that it takes 21 days to change a habit. It takes 3 times of doing something to form a habit. So a pattern is something that you naturally do. So you get up and you make coffee in the morning and you go to work. I get up every morning, I get dressed, brush my teeth, do my face and my hair. I go make coffee and I go out the door. Now, if I forget my coffee, I did it 3 times. And I walked out halfway to work, all 3 times, had to turn around and come back and get my coffee. Because their coffee cups are like that big, and I have a 30-ounce coffee cup. So the 4th day, I got downstairs, and I got into the car, and I put my stuff down, and I went to go pick up my coffee cup to take a drink out of it, and there's no coffee. So within 3 times, that made day 4, I was Friday, get up, did the same thing. Saturday morning, I was like, oh no, this is over. This is done. We're going back to, it is easy to remember to grab my cup of coffee when I leave for work. I always have my cup of coffee when I walk out the door to work. So it takes 21 days, they say, to take and change a habit. But in actuality, if you are reinforcing, it can take a matter of days. All this week, I haven't forgotten my coffee, but all last week I did, because I changed my story Saturday, and I'm like, yeah, no, I never forget my coffee. I always have my coffee with me. I always leave the house in the morning with my coffee. And I didn't ask questions. In that case, I just made general statements saying that this is what I wanted. Now, for a bigger desire, and manifesting a cup of coffee, honestly, is no different than manifesting more money in your bank account or changing your relationship. We have to live from the state and constantly stay in that state, 95% of the day. 5% of the day we can fall apart. You hit 51%, it's going to happen because your predominant thoughts are it's going to happen. The closer you get to 100, the faster it's going to happen. Oh, I don't think you really missed anything, Angela. I'm just kind of rattling on and on and on and on about, different things here and there. But I'm going to wrap this up. So you guys got like 5 minutes. Anybody else got any questions? And then I'm going to wrap this up and see if this hair is a disaster enough and whether or not I want to put it on YouTube, but it will definitely stay in the group. I'm kind of thinking that I'll keep some stuff in the group private and some stuff I will share because, yes, I did it. I stepped out of my comfort zone and I uploaded and created a YouTube channel. Thank you, Angela. I appreciate that. You got any questions? Exactly. And that's natural because you're a human being, Lily. When you're frustrated and you're upset, you fall below the line. And when you fall below the line, it's how long you stay there and then you get back up. Norman Vincent Peale was a book that I read. And in that book, he said to the lady, imagine your husband sitting in the easy chair next to you watching TV. The reason he said sitting in the easy chair watching TV with you is because it's something that you can naturally feel easily. If you were to look over and he's sitting in his favorite chair, if you see his glasses sitting on the table, if you see his cup of coffee, yeah, I know, I have a coffee problem. The idea is he took it to an unintimate thing that you're going to do 5 or 6 days a week. At the end of the day, you're going to sit down in the living room. You're going to turn on the TV. Somebody's going to watch TV. Somebody's going to do something else. You may or may not even have a conversation. So focusing on living in the end, you can have that. And it is okay to fall below the line. But when you fall below the line, what I do to get me out of it faster is, nope, no, I don't think so. Hello, I said, and yes, I'm doing it. Hello, I said, it's this way. So I remember when he was gone, and now he's here. I remember when we used to fight. Now we're getting along so well, people think it's like we were together for the first time. I will reinforce my story when I fall below that I'm trying to create. And I literally will do, nope, no, I said no. It is this way, and if you don't like it, there's the door. And I literally will slam the bathroom door, not the studio door though. Never slam the studio door. That would be disrespectful. Let's see. All right, so success stories when they say that they dropped it. Again, I can't stress enough, when you're dropping it, the desire isn't going away. You still have the desire. You're dropping the obsessive, needy want, I'm going to die if I don't get this, emotional baggage that goes with that old story. And you're living from the end that I have this. And it's going from first learning how to drive a car to driving a car 6 months later, a year later, 30 years later. It becomes so natural that you will just be in shock, because you'll be like, well, this happened, but I thought I would feel, and I just like, and literally that's what you'll be like. So visualizing every night, again, Neville did it every night he went to bed in the army cot. every night he went to bed and imagined his wife sleeping in the next bed. He didn't let go of the having being out of the Army. He didn't let go of being married to her. He let go of the drama on how it would happen. I hope that makes sense. And yes, the mental diet and the words you speak are the most important things that literally come out of your mouth. Because if your words are opposite of what you want, that's what you're creating. So if you're walking around saying, this isn't working, I'm doing all of this visualization, I'm scripting, I'm writing down in my journal, I'm doing blah, 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 but your words are saying, I don't understand why this isn't working. The words are cement. That's why it's not working. Yeah, I like that. Nope. I do that. Nope. I do that. No. And I don't think so to lots of people. And then there is somebody in this video that's watching that does it to me. Because she'll tell me, now I'm going to coach you. Stop saying that. And yes, I will give you credit, Patty. And I love you for it. Well, you're not waiting for it to happen, no, because you know it's a done deal. You're assuming and you're living from the end. So why am I happy living from that position? You visualize, yeah, it's the enjoyment of visualizing. It's because you are in love with the person, or you're thrilled that you have the new car, or you're playing with the new pet. Those are three things that just I keep reinforcing because eventually it will happen in my life. But your mental diet is the most important thing, and your words that you say, the actual having to recreate the scene. When they say that you visualized it once and the seed was planted, you've already visualized what you want. So you don't have to really repeat the visualization. You can until it feels natural to you. So if it's one time, if it's 1,000 times, that's okay. But your mental diet is what creates that happening going forward. So if you're visualizing and your mental diet and your words match and you're doing it every day, it's going to happen faster. If your mental diet and your words are saying what you want, it's going to happen faster. But if your words are opposite of what you're visualizing and your mental diet is, that's why it's not happening. And that's a big thing, Patty. You do get stuck. Everybody does. You have to know what you want. So you have to know the person you want, or the type of person you want to be with. So the characteristics that would make up a good marriage for you. What makes a happy marriage? What defines a happy marriage? You have to know exactly what that is. You have to define what romance is to you and what is required in romance. I would never marry another guy who won't bring me flowers. I don't expect flowers every night, but once in a while, I want flowers. And if you're not going to bring me flowers, it's a deal breaker. It's a silly deal breaker, but to me that indicates romance. Candlelight flowers, nice dinner, flowers, maybe a walk on the beach. And it doesn't have to be the $80 bouquet of roses. It can be the $4 thing from Walmart. I have flower vases under my sink. I don't have to have the whole thing, as long as every once in a while I get flowers. And once in a while to me is not once a year. And then let's see. So everything has to match up, Patty, absolutely. And once you know what you want, that's where scripting or journaling does help, because of the fact that you are reinforcing, you're writing it all down, figuring it out exactly what you want. And then from there, you can set the questions once you figured out what you want, the mental diet, and the words that you're speaking. Somebody asked about the 5x5 method. I personally have tried it. It's where you write 5 days in a row, 55 times your desire. I did it once, and then I forgot the second day. So then I'm like, okay, I got to start all over again. For people who it does work for, they're actually saying, if I write this out 5 days, 55 times each day, I will get this. So they have the state that if they write it out, they'll get it. I don't disagree with any tool that gets you what you want, as long as you're aligning your imagination, your thoughts, and your words. Whatever manifesting tool works best for you, go for that one. Revision. I think in some cases revision is really good, because if you've had a really traumatic experience, and it can help you get rid of anxiety, PTSD, depression, revision may be the greatest tool in the world, because you can change the incident that caused those desires. For me personally, everything that I have done in my life has taught me something. So if I really don't like that situation, I forgive myself the Neville way. And Neville says to forgive is to truly forget about the thing that happened. So if I had a fight with somebody, I would never bring that fight up again. I would never talk about that fight again. I would totally forgive that person, myself, because I'm the one that caused that fight to begin with. And then I would absolutely never bring it up again. Revision, you can use that. Go back to a scene where something's going on in your life and revise that. I, in a lot of ways, have revised some of my childhood. I didn't have a great childhood, so I pick the things out that I talk about that were the good things in my life. My grandfather was my rock. He is the reason I love Alabama football. He's the reason I love swans. His nickname for me was Swan, and he spelled it with 2 S's and 2 N's, because my first name is Suzanne and I have 2 N's in it, so he thought it looked prettier when he wrote it out. So because of my love of swans, it comes from my grandfather. My love of football comes from my grandfather. I was 6 days old watching college football with Grandpa on the first Saturday of my life. And I still watch college football to this day every Saturday. On Sundays, I like pro football, but I'm not going to die if I miss it. But I hate missing the Alabama games. It's just, So revision is a great tool, because you can walk around and say, I had an amazing childhood, even if it was abusive. And that's going to change the relationship that you have with everybody in the family, because the anger, the frustration, it's going to disappear because you're changing your story. So there's a lot of places where I can see that revision would be an absolutely amazing tool. When you're manifesting a text, you're manifesting a phone call, you're manifesting bumping into them, those are separate desires from living in the end. I talked to somebody who wants to be a doctor. And in order to be a doctor, you have to go to college, you have to go to med school, you have to go through internship, then you can get into a practice. So becoming a doctor has to be done in steps. You can manifest a relationship in steps by, first we're friends, We're talking every day. We're texting every day. We're calling each other every day. We are meeting multiple times a week. We're bumping into each other all the time. You can manifest the relationship in the same stages you would manifest being a doctor. The thing is, you legitimately know your end, so you are still living from the end. But if you're living from the end and you're saying, I'm happily married, I'm in a happy, committed relationship, he's always texting me, he's always calling me if he goes out of town on business, we video chat, so that we are still putting our relationship first. It's 100% about how you feel. If you feel manifesting the text is messing in the middle, don't do it. If you feel manifesting the text is the only way you're going to get back together, don't do it. If you feel that creating text messages will help, then what is your thought as to why it would help? If you're just texting because you saw something random and you know he would think it was funny and you don't expect a response and you don't get a response, are you getting upset? But the text itself is a separate manifestation from actually living in the end of the relationship, unless you're literally living from the end. I'm happily married. I have amazing communication with my spouse. I'm getting texts. I'm getting phone calls. We're always communicating with each other. The most important thing in our marriage is communication and knowing what the other one's doing, and that they always have our backs. That's a good way to look at texts. Sally, dropping it. Dropping it, if you are married, you're never going to drop your spouse. If you're not thinking about your spouse when you're married, why are you wanting to be with them? So dropping it is the desired, coming from obsession, need, want. Living in the end, you're still going to think about whether or not you're happily married. You're still going to think about what the two of you would have for dinner. You're still going to think about how well you're communicating. So dropping it means dropping the obsession. If you believe the text message is messing in the middle, then that is what you will get. And then if you get a text message that just says hello or how you been, you can't get upset because you got a text message. Again, living from the end, you would normally communicate with your spouse. And if you're normally communicating with your spouse, text messages, phone calls, emails sometimes, video chatting because you're not in the same zip code because of work or family situations. Text messages are okay, I'll do that one and that'll be the end of it. Text messages are something you would normally get. So if all you're wanting is a text, then you're not living from the end. If you're creating amazing communication, then you're living from the end because you want amazing communication when you're married. So a game I teach people to play, there's two, and the one that you're talking about is the toilet seat game. When I first learned about manifesting, I have boys, and I had now an ex-husband, and they would leave the toilet seat up. And this is manifesting 101 at its best. You walk into the bathroom and you're like, are you serious? They left the toilet seat up again. You get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you really got to go to the bathroom, so you're running to the bathroom and you sit down on the toilet in the dark and you hit cold water. So I started playing a game. Even if they left the seat up, I would say, why are they leaving the seat down? Thank you for leaving the seat down. Oh my God, they put the seat down. I am so happy. Even robotic, the seat's down. Neutral, the seat's down. the seat's down. They put the seat down. Why did they put the seat down? My apartment that I live in, the person before me literally has a thing underneath the toilet seat that says, please put me down. So guys will go use the toilet seat and the toilet, and they'll come back out and they'll be like, seriously, the toilet? I'm like, well, did you? Well, of course not. And I'm thinking, well, why aren't you putting it down? It even says it, put it down. So I created them leaving the toilet seat up. So I would start thinking, well, now they're going to leave it down. And then when they would leave it down, I would go back to, oh, they're going to leave it up. So today they'd leave it up. Tomorrow they'd put it down. Then they'd put it down for a couple of days. And then I might make them leave it up for 3 or 4 days. And then all of a sudden they're putting the toilet seat down. To me, it's a game. I don't tell them that's what I'm doing. But it taught me that my thoughts create outside 3D as to what it's doing. So I play the toilet seat game. Now, if you're dating somebody, you're married to somebody, the kissing game. The kissing game works in the same principle. I want kisses. I want kisses. I want lots of kisses. So why is he always kissing me? Why is he always kissing me? Why am I always getting kisses? Kissing's too personal. Back off. No kisses. And then we'll come in for a kiss and like turn their head. They'd come in for a kiss and they'd like turn their head. And I'm thinking in my head, I got this beat. And then I'd go back to, why are they always kissing me? Why are they only kissing me? Why are they only kissing me? You can actually do other games with the girls though. Girls are notorious for like the toothpaste cap, not putting the toothbrush back where it belongs, leaving the caps off of things, not putting hairspray or their makeup back on the cabinets. So you can find different ways to play these games to be able to get them to do stuff. You want your kids to clean the bedroom? My daughter has a 3-year-old. Some of you guys have met her. She likes to stick her face into the videos all the time. She's absolutely priceless. When she comes by me, she picks up her toys. She tells me she has to go potty. She, in her 3-year-old voice, uses her words and talks in this cute little British accent because she watches Peppa Pig. But I'm always asking her, why do you pick up your toys when you're done playing with it? Why do you always tell me you have to go potty? Why do you use your words to explain to me what you want? So that's exactly what I get. To the point, she was leaving and her toys were all over the living room floor, and she gave her daddy her toys, and she was getting really upset about all of her toys, and he's like, what? And she kept handing him the toys that she takes home. And then she started picking up all of her toys in the living room and putting them in the toy box. And he looked at me dumbfounded and he's like, how do you do that? I'm like, because I asked, why does she always pick up her toys? So we can turn our kids into neat freaks. We can turn our kids into better communicators. We can get our kids to tell us everything. Because you walk around going, why do my kids tell me everything? Sometimes it's not a good thing though. Sometimes it's not really good when they tell you everything, because there are some things parents don't want to know, honestly. You might want to rethink that, everything but X. Yes, we know you've been playing with my kitty. It's my kitty. He loves me. He always plays on the screen when we're chatting. So we're playing cat games. Can we get the kitty to stretch every time he gets up? And how does he stretch? Does he jump off the bed? Does he bounce around? So you can do it with pets. You can do it with people. You can do it with coworkers. You can do it with anything. If you're going to the grocery store and you're thinking, oh, not this cashier because she's always mean to me. Well, why is the cashier always telling me why she's upset? Why am I able to fix whatever's going wrong in her life? Why she always leave when I'm happy? People are upset. Start asking them, why are you happy? Those are things that I normally do, and it can get annoying. I actually did that, Patty. The 3-year-old does not like the self-flushing toilets in Walmart. So we were in Walmart today and she had to go potty. And I'm like, why do you always tell me you have to go potty? And she told me potty. So I carried her to the bathroom, and when I took her to the bathroom, I told her that it was safe and it was okay. And I put her on the toilet. She went potty, and I told her, now hold on a second. I'm going to flush the toilet, because you can flush self-flushing toilets even at Walmart. So I pushed the button on the toilet, picked her up off of it, and she didn't freak out and scream, because it makes a really loud whoosh and it's flushing. So you can even change how she reacts to that. When we get out of the car to go somewhere, we ask her, why is she going to be good? When it's time to leave, we're going to tell her we have 5 minutes. And then when we tell her in 5 minutes it's time to go, are you going to be good and just go because we have other things to do? And we wait until she says yes. And then we are thanking her and reinforcing that she's such a good girl, that she's loves to play, she wants to do XYZ, and then when we say it's time to go, she's happy to go on to the next adventure that we have to do. Oh wow, Lily, that is funny. She even took a video of her friend. Oh wait, so her friend took the video of her at the dance for her first kiss. Yeah, it gets worse. Trust me. You don't want to know the rest when they get older and they're adults. Even though we know they do it, we don't want to know they do it. But yeah, we're working on the, even with the 3-year-old, if you're constantly asking them, why are you so good? Why can I take you anywhere? Why do you behave for me? Why are you always picking up after yourself? I have a friend who is working on her 16-year-old son, and she says his hygiene's and he's messy. And I'm like, why is he a neat freak? Why does he always smell good? Why is he always doing blah, blah, blah? And why can you easily communicate? The words that you're using to communicate are what you're thinking. So if you're thinking you have the perfect relationship, if you're thinking you have the ability to communicate about anything, if you're thinking you can potentially change a 3-year-old from being afraid of a toilet, you can. Anything is possible as long as the 3 things line up: your imagined act, your thoughts, and your words. It's 10:11 my time, guys. I got to be up at 5:30 in the morning, so I'm going to call it a good night. Thank you all for being patient and waiting for me while I dealt with something else today. I really, truly do appreciate it. Have a good night. And if I didn't answer any of your questions, I will go through them this weekend on the live, and I will answer the questions individually. Love you guys. Have a great night.